Those who fight with monsters should see to it that they do not become a monster themselves. And if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss will gaze back into you. With these words, Nietzsche warns us about the cost of facing the darkest truths of existence. He was the philosopher who dared to go beyond conventions, dismantling the illusions that uphold our worldview. For him, what we call good and evil are nothing more than masks created to control and organize the inherent chaos of life. Nietzsche not only challenged these illusions, he invited us to confront them, plunging into the void behind them. But staring into the abyss comes at a price. We are forced to face our fragility and confront a disturbing truth, that life is not made of order or harmony, but of chaos, pain, struggle, and the relentless pursuit of power. Nietzsche's most dangerous idea is that when we gaze into the abyss, we are confronted with something deeper than emptiness, our own essence. And without the comforting illusions we rely on, we are faced with the threat of an existence that may seem devoid of meaning. This confrontation can lead us to two extremes, ruin or freedom. Today, we will explore this revolutionary and unsettling idea, delving into what happens when we abandon our most comfortable certainties and face the abyss head-on. In his work Beyond Good and Evil, Nietzsche not only questions morality, but also challenges each of us to re-evaluate the very foundations of our existence. Beyond Good and Evil invites us to question everything we take for granted about morality. For Nietzsche, the concepts of good and evil, so deeply ingrained in our consciousness, are not universal truths, but human creations shaped by the interests of power. Nietzsche saw morality as an expression of the will to power, the force that drives us to shape the world in our favor. Behind our actions, he identified a constant struggle for dominance, where what we call good reflects the qualities of the dominant, such as strength, courage, and autonomy. Meanwhile, evil encompasses everything that challenges and opposes this supposed authority. And what about us, who live under these constructions? Consider something as simple as dancing in the street. Would you feel foolish out of fear of others' judgment, or staying in a job you hate because it seems like the right thing to do? For Nietzsche, traditional values imprison us and distance us from our true essence. He challenges us to recognize that these moral structures are neither immutable nor universal. They vary according to culture, era, and power dynamics. What one society praises as virtuous might be dismissed by another. This relativity reveals morality as, ultimately, a tool of control, designed to preserve social order and benefit specific groups. A clear example lies in how we are conditioned from a young age to obey rules without questioning them, believing they are good by nature. But do these rules genuinely reflect our internal values, or do they merely reinforce external conventions that alienate us from authenticity? Nietzsche proposes that by transcending traditional morality, we can discover a new way of living, not based on what is imposed on us, but on what truly allows us to flourish. This path, however, requires the courage to face the freedom that comes with breaking away from notions of right and wrong. God is dead, and we have killed him. Nietzsche's idea of the death of God goes far beyond a mere critique of religion. It is a declaration that shakes the foundations of the highest values we hold, forcing us to confront an uncomfortable question. What do we believe in when those values crumble? When Nietzsche proclaimed God's death, he wasn't speaking only of a deity, but of the void that emerges with the collapse of inherited values. A void that compels us to reassess the meaning of life, morality, and the conventions that guide our existence. He did not condemn the figure of Jesus Christ, but criticized institutionalized Christianity, which in his view served more to control the masses than to elevate the human spirit. In the Antichrist, Nietzsche confronts the dogmas and impositions of the Church, exposing how religious morality functioned not as a spiritual guide, but as a tool of submission. For Nietzsche, traditional morality is rooted in fear, the fear of making mistakes, disobeying, or losing access to a supposed heavenly reward. It is a morality based on guilt and submission, one that traps us in a web of obligations and expectations, pulling us away from our true essence. This brings us to the idea that the rules we learn, the values we adopt, and the meanings we construct throughout life can act like invisible chains. Chains that distance us from authenticity and prevent us from living fully and truthfully. Nietzsche challenges us to confront these restraints and to question everything we do and believe is right. But then, what remains? What remains, according to Nietzsche, is the necessity of creating new values, an effort that is deeply individual and profoundly challenging. Without the certainties of an imposed morality or divine purpose, humanity stands before an existential abyss. It is in this void that we must find the strength to affirm life in all its complexity, with its pain, chaos, and beauty. The death of God, therefore, is not merely a collapse, but an opportunity. It marks the beginning of a journey toward genuine freedom, where each individual must become the creator of their own meaning, forging a unique and authentic path. When God is dead, when the values that once guided us crumble, and everything that seemed essential loses its significance, nihilism is born. Nihilism represents the experience of existential emptiness, the painful realization that there are no objective values or meanings in the universe. It emerges when the foundations of our lives, such as morality, purpose, and justice, are destroyed. By questioning the illusions that sustain our existence, we may encounter the anguish and despair provoked by this lack of meaning. Facing nihilism is like staring into a profound and desolate abyss. This abyss is not just a metaphor for chaos and emptiness, but a reflection of ourselves. When we gaze into it for too long, it gazes back at us, revealing our deepest weaknesses, fears, and doubts. The first danger of this confrontation is becoming what we face. Those who fight relentlessly against evil or chaos may, without realizing it, adopt the very methods they seek to oppose. This prolonged battle can erode our identity, pulling us further away from who we truly are. The second risk is psychological impact. Staring into the abyss without emotional preparedness can plunge us into a cycle of hopelessness and powerlessness. This void, without the structures to confront it, can trigger existential crises and attract those who prefer to destroy without building anything in return. There is also the dangerous temptation to lose oneself in the abyss. When we abandon old beliefs but fail to construct new values, we are left at the mercy of chaos, directionless and purposeless. Nietzsche distinguishes between willingly confronting the abyss and being thrust into it by external or internal crises such as loss, tragedy, or unexpected upheavals. Events like the end of a relationship or the loss of a job can plunge us into this void, increasing the risk of psychological trauma, particularly if we are unprepared. Facing the abyss demands courage and readiness. It is a test of our integrity, a call to reflect on who we are when all illusions are stripped away. However, confronting the abyss is ultimately a transformative process. In facing this existential void, we not only encounter the surrounding chaos, but also uncover the immense freedom that comes with the absence of certainties. When no external values dictate our actions, we are left with the profound responsibility to forge our own path. This is where Nietzsche challenges us to transcend nihilism, not to succumb to the void, but to find the strength to affirm life, no matter how chaotic it may be. Overcoming nihilism for Nietzsche involves the creation of new values. He invites us to become overmen, Übermenschen, individuals who, instead of being consumed by despair, embrace the abyss and transform it into something positive. By doing so, we construct new meaning, not based on imposed rules, but on our own choices and creative impulses. This reconstruction is no easy task. It demands tremendous courage, as it requires challenging everything we once believed to be true. Yet, by finally breaking free from the chains of traditional morality and the fear of the abyss, we can achieve true freedom. Freed from the weight of external expectations, we gain the ability to create a purposeful life, even in the face of the vast emptiness. Facing the abyss by choice, with awareness and intention, can be a profoundly transformative experience. This confrontation, though painful, is also an opportunity to overcome illusions and rebuild oneself authentically. Nihilism, despite its devastating weight, can be both a danger and a chance for rebirth. By willingly stepping into chaos, we embrace the possibility of inner renewal. The emptiness of nihilism, rather than being merely an end, is a fertile ground for the emergence of something new. It is within chaos that we find the opportunity to transcend the limitations of our past beliefs and shape something more genuine. When external structures collapse, we are forced to look inward, and within that space, the potential for transformation becomes immense. Chaos offers the chance to uncover our true strength. The constant struggle against adversity pushes us to forge a stronger and more resilient identity. By abandoning certainties and expectations, we are confronted with the freedom to create new meanings for our lives. Chaos need not be feared, but understood as a terrain where we can cultivate a fresh vision of the world, rooted in the acceptance of impermanence and the adaptability to change. The greatest mistake is trying to control chaos using the same methods we use to govern order. Instead of resisting, we must learn to flow with it, absorb its lessons, and find within it the seeds of self-transcendence. When we accept that life is unpredictable and messy, we begin to see the hidden potential in chaos, and that acceptance grants us the strength to grow, evolve, and create something unique from the disorder. Thus, chaos is not an enemy, it is a teacher. If we learn to listen to it, it will guide us to a new understanding of ourselves and of life. Nietzsche does not offer us ready-made answers, but a call to a profound and unsettling confrontation with ourselves. He challenges us to look inward and question the foundations of the truths we accept without resistance. What values guide our lives, and how many of them are truly our own? Are we prepared to face the discomfort of the void, or will we continue to hide behind the comforting masks we wear? To live in the abyss is an invitation to shed those masks and embrace the vulnerability of our existence. When we confront the void, we are not only faced with the absence of answers, but also with the responsibility to create our own truths. Nietzsche dares us to abandon the certainties imposed by society and religion, urging us to deeply question what genuinely matters to us. This journey demands immense courage because facing the abyss means staring directly into the chaos, both internal and external, without illusions of safety. Yet it is precisely in this confrontation that we discover the potential for freedom. Freedom to be who we truly are, unshackled from conventions or the expectations of others. To live in the abyss is to recognize that by confronting the void, we can shape our own meaning of life. It is a challenge to become the creators of our own morality, unafraid to dismantle the structures that confine us.